Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Griscoviac?
Here.
Councilmember Kicker?
Here.
Councilmember Demmer?
Here.
Councilmember Geisler?
Here.
Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Wells?
Here.
Mayor Cook?
Here. Thank you. First item on our agenda then is to adopt this evening's agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Demmer, second by Kicker to adopt this evening's agenda. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. And our very first item then this evening is the oath of office of the new firefighter, Chief Piper.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, council, city staff, and citizens of Coon Rapids. As fire chief, I'd like to take the opportunity this evening to introduce you to our newest career firefighter. The fire department takes great pride in the service we provide to the citizens of Coon Rapids. Our mission statement states, the mission of the Coon Rapids Fire Department is to provide efficient services designed to protect lives and property from the adverse effects of fires, medical emergencies, or exposure to dangerous conditions. We pursue this mission with determination and resolve, with emphasis on dedication, compassion, and constant improvement. To accomplish this mission, we need trained, dedicated, and compassionate personnel. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Mike Sison. Mike grew up in Coon Rapids and graduated from West Lutheran High School in Plymouth, Minnesota in 2005. Mike served in the Navy from 2005 to 2010. His education includes Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Emergency Medical Technician, and he studied fire science at Hennepin Technical College. Mike's family consists of his wife Becky and daughter Amelia. Mike has been a paid-on-call firefighter in Coon Rapids since 2012. Mike, you have been chosen and trained to be a firefighter for this organization. In addition to responding to emergencies, your duties are many. As a firefighter, you are responsible to maintain your knowledge, skills, and physical abilities. You're also responsible to provide quality service to our customers. It will be your duty to respond whenever called. Your chiefs, your crew, and the community rely on your abilities and professionalism in the performance of your role as firefighter. I know you will provide many years of excellent service to our city. That said, we'll now have the formal pinning of Mike's badge, number 79, followed by him swearing an oath of office performed by Mayor Jerry Cook. So, I would like to introduce Mike's wife, Becky, as the person he selected to pin on his badge.
All right, if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. And it's Sison. Sison. All right. I, Mike Sison, do solemnly swear
I, Mike Sison, do solemnly swear
that I will support the policies and procedures
that I will support the policies and procedures
of the Coon Rapids Fire Department.
of the Coon Rapids Fire Department.
I will faithfully,
honorably,
and to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability
protect the safety and lives of my fellow firefighters
protect the lives and safety of my fellow firefighters
and citizens
whose care has been entrusted to me.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. kind of a twofer. Amelia got to come up there along with Becky for the pinning. And that's it. Everybody's leaving. Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming. Congratulations, Mike.
We still got 3? This is like our most popular meeting.
All right. We are on to item 2, approve the minutes of the July 16th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Demmer to approve the minutes of the July 16, 2019 meeting. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And those minutes are approved. We have 2 items on our consent agenda this evening. And the first one is strictly an informational item, to accept an informational item that there's a corporate officer change at Kendall's Tavern and Chop House, 12800 Bunker Prairie Road. And a representative for Morrissey Hospitality Corporation, Bunker Hills LLC, has notified the city of a change, and it's a matter of Phil Jungworth retired, and Keith Reardon has replaced him. I knew all these names. I didn't want to say them without reading them, though, to make sure I didn't get them backwards. So that's item 3. That was just informational purposes. And then item 4, which is the second and last item on our consent agenda, is to adopt Resolution 19-83, adopting the 2019 Anoka County All-Hazard Mitigation Plan. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, requires all cities and counties to have mitigation plans in place prior to receiving any grant funds or to be eligible for federal disaster reimbursement in the event of a presidential emergency declaration. And so this will be adopting Resolution 19-83, adopting the 2019 multi-jurisdictional Anoka County All-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Demmer,
I'll move to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
motion by Demmer, second by Kicker. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And the consent agenda is adopted. And we are on to item 5, consider resolution 19-82, real estate equities, housing revenue bonds. Earlier this year, the city council approved land use applications by real estate equities for a 168-unit workforce apartment building on a vacant site near the intersection of 94th Avenue and Springbrook Drive. All units in the proposed building would be affordable to households earning 60% of area median income. Project financing will include federal tax credits, tax increment financing, and conduit revenue bonds. Real Estate Equities has requested that the city act as the issuer for tax-exempt bonds to fund the project. The bonds, which are not an obligation of the city, will provide construction financing for the project and will be paid down after the project has stabilized and permanent financing is obtained. In June 2019, the council adopted a resolution authorizing an initial temporary bond issue because these bonds were parked and the developer is now preparing to close on its permanent financing. The council is asked to consider an additional bond resolution. Closing on the project is expected to occur by early September, and construction will begin shortly thereafter. Mr. Fernelius, anything you want to cover on that, or?
Mr. Mayor, you hit the high points, so I don't have anything else to add.
I read everything you wrote, so.
Mr. Brown wrote that, so.
All right.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Johnson,
I'll move approval of Resolution 19-82 related to the issuance and sale of multifamily housing revenue bonds.
Second.
motion by Johnson, second by Geisler. Discussion?
Your Honor,
Councilmember Demmer?
just always like to highlight that this is a type of bond where, as the mayor said, is not an obligation of the city. So they just need us to be a signatory.
All right. Any other discussion?
Mayor?
Councilmember Griscoviac.
To that point, I mean, the council knows I've been a kind of an opponent to this project from the beginning. That said, this is actually just going to ensure that we have a good viable project in our community. And the question that I have here is, are the housing revenue bonds real estate equities housing bonds or Coon Rapids AH1 LLP?
I believe the city is actually issuing these bonds in our name, and it'll benefit the developer, but they will be responsible for paying them back.
So it will be the developer in the development agreement that will be responsible for paying them back.
That's correct.
Okay.
These are not obligations of the city of Coon Rapids.
So, but the name here says real estate equities housing revenue bonds, but they're actually Coon Rapids AH1 LLP, which is the limited liability corporation for the development. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted that to make sure that it matched what happened in the EDA meeting earlier.
Yes, that's
See?
correct.
Okay.
So the resolution has it right in the text of the resolution, but the agenda item has it wrong.
Got it.
Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Well, the summary,
Yes,
summary just
yeah,
gives the
I
general
think
background.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. Hearing, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And we are on to item 6, which is to adopt resolutions 19-80 and 19-81, levying of the miscellaneous 2019 parens 1 appealed assessments. And these were all, let's see, so the hearing on miscellaneous assessments was held at the city council meeting on June 4th. Property owners who objected to their assessments were referred to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals for review at their meeting on July 11th, 2019. After the Board of Adjustment and Appeals heard objections, the following recommendations have been made, and those are what are in front of us to act on now. Is there anything you want to add to this? Anybody
Yes,
over there?
Mr. Mayor, on Monday, many of these were paid, and so they will not be assessed to the county. There's only 3 still that will be assessed for a total of $3,510.
Okay. Thank you. Council?
Your Honor.
Councilmember Demmer?
So, quick question, are they spread between the 1 year and the 3 year, or does one of those two go away? Because we're going to adopt 2 different resolutions, but if all of them got
Right.
paid.
They are spread, because one is under
Okay.
those 1 year and one is two are the 3 year.
Okay, then I'll move to adopt resolutions 19-80 and 19-81, adopting the 2019 miscellaneous special assessments per the ones that remain.
Second.
We have a motion by Demmer and a second by Griscoviac. For discussion,
Your Honor?
Councilmember Demmer?
So just for people at home, a few of the things that got cited include parking off pavement, not having a rental license, having expired tabs, having no garbage service. Remember, those are all things that you can get cited for, and do your best not to have those things.
And Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I know I was contacted by some of the folks on the list, and the key is, if you have a citation, address it and talk and work with the city right away. Don't put it in the drawer and wait for the second one and wait for the third one, because that's when they're hard to resolve, right? So call right away and we'll figure something out with you, and it's gonna be easier on everybody. Because I know I don't always like to do the citations and put fines on folks. It'd be much better if we could work with you up front. So if there is an issue, let us work with you, please.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, to go from 0 to affirming a $1,600 violation for no garbage service in about 40 days, that's harsh. But if you have no response, I guess I don't know what you do.
Right.
All right, any other discussion? We had a motion and a second on that, correct? Yeah. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Item 7 this evening is to consider introduction of an ordinance to extend the moratorium on self-storage facilities. Does anybody need any further information before we consider this introduced? All right. So then, hearing that, we will consider the introduction of the ordinance to extend the moratorium on self-storage facilities. We will consider that introduced, and, I'm sorry, it's for an additional 6 months.
Right.
Do I need to tie that all together? Was that okay? Okay.
And then we will bring this obviously back at our next council meeting, which I think is on Tuesday, August 20th.
Okay. All right. And then item 8 is another introduction. Consider introduction of an ordinance establishing stop signs on Linnett Street at Mississippi Boulevard. The intersection was brought to the Traffic Review Committee's attention by the Coon Rapids Fire Department staff due to recent motor vehicle accidents. The Traffic Review Committee met in the field on June 17th to evaluate the location and gathered accident history and traffic count information. The TRC, Traffic Review Committee, believes north and southbound stop signs would improve safety for motorists driving in the area. As this intersection is included in the Street Reconstruction Project 19-3, staff recommends sign installation coincide with the contractor's schedule for completion of road work on Mississippi Boulevard. That's an intersection that I used to go through all the time, and I always used to wonder why there were no stop signs on Lynette, because Mississippi really felt like that was the main road.
Yeah.
And so, all right, anybody have any questions or need anything on that? Councilmember Demmer? Well, suddenly now, if I support it, you're against it?
We're not even voting. I'm just confused because this is how we add stop signs? I mean, we don't have an ordinance in the books for every stop sign and stoplight in the city, right? What's the deal?
Well, the heads are nodding over there.
So every stop sign is an ordinance? There's like a section of stop signs?
Well, it's not part of our, codified into our main.
Okay, that's why I haven't seen it. I was like,
Yeah,
that
you don't
seems like
see
it'd be really thick. Okay, never mind. If that's the procedure, I was just confused.
Sure.
All right, any other questions? All right, so then, with that, we will consider an ordinance establishing stop signs on northbound and southbound Linnett Street Northwest at Mississippi Boulevard Northwest, introduced. All right, Chief Wise, how do you say that street?
I'm sorry, I wasn't Lynette.
You weren't really- This is sort of that Exion Xeon. I always used to say Lynette, and then I heard people down there say Linnett. Okay, all right.
It's catch me daydreaming.
It's important that the police come. You always want to know what street you're on.
People are gonna end up misspelling it E-T-T-E.
All right, we are on to item 9, which is an open mic response to Ms. Carol Ledoux. She appeared at, what did I miss?
Check open mic first.
I skipped right over that.
You did.
All right, let's do that first. Open mic. Anybody here for open mic? Mr. Cosman, here for open mic? All right. Please give us your name and your address and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
My name is Jeffrey Cosman. I'm at 3049 116th Avenue Northwest, 55433. I'm here, there's a bus stop on Coon Rapids Boulevard in front of the McDonald's, but also across the street from Cheapskate. I'm sorry, I don't know the address. They repaired a couple sidewalks. They look great, but there's a blob of cement just sitting there, and I was just wondering if I don't know if the city's responsible for that, but I assume you would know who is. If there's a way that could be cleaned up, it's a bit of an eyesore.
Okay, so on the Cheapskate side or on the other side?
On McDonald's side,
On the
please.
McDonald's side?
Yep. And then secondly, real quick, just an idea that may not be very good, but we'll try anyways. A lot of people are hiring nowadays, and I'm just wondering if the companies in Coon Rapids who are hiring, what could have a little site on the website for the city of Coon Rapids, something like following companies in Coon Rapids are hiring. The idea I thought would be, it'd be nice for companies to be able to hire people within Coon Rapids. And it'd be nice for people who live in Coon Rapids who are looking for a job or looking for a better job to be able to work close to home. And I just didn't know if that's a way to put that on the website. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Cosman. Anybody else here to address council during open mic? Nope. All right. Next, then, we're on to item 9, open mic response from the previous council meeting. Ms. Carol Ledoux appeared at the open mic portion of the July 16th council meeting. She addressed council to request the pond near her townhome at Prairie Oak Park be cleared of brush. Let's see, so staff was previously contacted directly by her and a few other adjacent residents about this matter. Initial concerns identified were potential for flooding in the area due to a blocked storm sewer pipe and general aesthetics, basically of the ability to see the pond or a lake view almost. Staff has investigated the storm sewer matter and determined it is functioning correctly. The city forester has reviewed the site and determined there are no safety concerns for the downed and/or potential for falling trees. The surrounding vegetation is good for water quality in the stormwater pond and system. It holds the shoreline to reduce erosion concerns and acts as a filter for groundwater flow in the area. Staff is concerned that vegetative removals would negatively impact the health of the pond and encourage more active use as a recreational amenity. It could also lead to future requests for water quality pond treatments, algae removal, etc., similar to other requests received at various locations throughout the city. Additionally, allowing better access to the pond may increase the stated safety concern contained within the petition. There was some concern that it was more dangerous for the kids with the brush around there, and the thought is actually kind of inverse to that. Let's see. Additionally, allowing better access to the pond may increase, let's see. Aesthetically, there are many properties that abut this stormwater pond, and while some may like to see the water, others enjoy the natural screening function of the vegetation and its wildlife characteristics. So the recommendation is to not remove vegetation around this stormwater pond. And if the city council desires additional information or investigation into the matter, staff requests that the city council provide additional direction. And that's everything on that. And that's everything on the meeting. We're up to other business. Chief Wise.
I would be remiss, Mr. Mayor, if we didn't discuss last night. Tuesday was Night to Unite in Coon Rapids. We had 114 neighborhood parties throughout our city, which is great. Of course, I'm going to challenge the community to do better next year. That said, thousands of people were out getting to know each other better within neighborhoods. And it's obvious that the best neighborhoods are those where neighbors look out for each other. And that's the whole purpose, is to encourage neighbors to know each other's business, not in a nosy sort of way, but know enough about each other that you look out for one another and help enhance our safety and security in town. So it's a big deal for us, and we're very happy. And I know most of you were out and about last night attending parties yourselves. So thanks to you and thanks to the community.
And they really don't even have to wait for next August. They could actually, I've noticed some of the neighborhoods organize little social events during the year. And to that end, I think that's a great plan as well.
I couldn't agree more. Kind of the best part about it is it's sort of it's having a party without having to feel like you have to go over the top. You literally just invite people to your yard to chat. Bring a lawn chair and chat for a little while. And it's very simple. I've never heard of anybody say that we've had a party that went wrong or something like that. So it's a nice, easy way to get to know your neighbors better. And I certainly would encourage people to have neighborhood parties all the time, frankly, but for sure, Night to Unite next year.
Sure. Thank you. Other business?
Your Honor.
Councilor Johnson?
If I might just dovetail off that, I was very pleased to see that in my ward, when I was out riding around with the fire department, that we had the traditional parties that I've been to for the last 5 years, but we also had new parties that were out there that had just really good turnout. And every party that we went to was active and going. So there have been years in the past where some of them have been listed, and then the truck rolls up and it's just a ghost town. And this time, every party was going, and it was active, and it was wonderful. And I did want to share one piece of information, and that was I actually had a couple of kids come up to me. It was kind of funny because they said, "Are you in charge of Wreck on the Spot?" And I said, "Well, indirectly." and it's a hit. They love it. I was actually surprised to hear that, and I wanted to give that feedback to the staff that is going well. So I hope you share that with Ryan and others about how well that's going and how much the kids like it. Thank you.
Excellent. Moving on to one more concert at the dam this coming Thursday night.
Mayor Council, that's correct. It's the Revolution 5, which is a Beatles cover band, I believe, and then that'll wrap it up for the season.
Yeah, I think they've had a pretty good year down there. All right, other business? Chief Wise.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I gotta do one other one, because
Perfect.
I'm kind of a youth sports guy. Coon Rapids Andover Little League baseball team is in the Midwest Regional Semifinal tomorrow.
Again.
Yes, once again, so they win tomorrow, they'll get one more game for the Midwest Region Championship, and then they'd be off to the Little League World Series.
Nice.
Another big deal, so, those of you who are into youth sports, if you have little kids especially, and you wanna get them involved in baseball, tune in. I think you can watch it online.
Huh, excellent. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Kudos to those guys and congratulations. All right. Let's just keep pleading here. Any other business? Okay. Oh.
Go.
Mr. Anderson, I'm so thankful you are here tonight. How are things going at Bunker Hills Golf?
Well, things are going really well. Obviously, August, we're excited. The lot is going on, a lot of weddings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the patio, celebrations of all kind, and lots of golf and golf events. And I'd like to highlight one. This Friday is the Tee It Up for the Troops annual shotgun at 12:30. The opening ceremonies, which is always a very special occasion, starts at 11:30. And the reason I bring it up is because public is certainly encouraged to attend. So between 11:30 approximately and 12:30 approximately will be the opening ceremonies, live music, military tributes, and this year the U.S. Army Golden Knights parachute team will be dropping in, as they say, to the opening ceremonies as well, which will occur on the Bunker Hills driving range tee. So we're very excited for Friday. The weather's supposed to be great, and we expect a great crowd.
This is the first time you've had anybody parachute in.
Yep, we've had planes fly over and all kinds of other things, but this will be the first time, yeah.
That might even be bigger than the bagpipes. There's usually bagpipes. Too.
The bagpipes don't get you this.
Parachuting bagpipers.
Parachuting bagpipes.
Golden Knights aren't enough.
All right, other business? Let's get out of here then.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Demmer to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.